Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Happy Thursday. Hello, Norfolking around. Oh, hi, everyone. Good evening. I really hope you're well. You've got a nice drink with you and you're ready to settle in and join our chat. I'm meeting up with Emma. Hey, Emma. Here she is. See if we can add her. Oh, every time I get there we go. Is she with me? There she is. I was just having a little moment.
I always feel like that at the beginning of a live. Will it work?
I know, I'm like, now, can I just remember how to add? Oh,
it seems to have changed as well, doesn't it? I thought it had changed at the beginning, but look, we're here.
We're here. We're here. Do you have a nice glass of something with you?
Have a nice cup of tea.
Oh, lovely. I've got a nice glass of water. It's definitely water, I promise. Definitely water. So how are you? Have you had a good day?
Yeah, it's been a busy day, but I'm getting slowly back into the swing of things after Christmas and January. That's just long, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's gone. Well, for me, it's gone very, very quickly. But also, it does seem like there's been about 3,000 days in the month. So yeah. So welcome to Woman on a Mission Live. I'm so glad to have you on this evening. So glad. So for everyone that is joining us, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. My little series of lives is all about finding out more about the person behind the account. So says me, who very rarely you see me on the account, but yeah, so tonight is all about my lovely community have sent in loads of questions about what they want to know most about the face behind Declutter with Emma. So I've got 5 questions for you, which is our normal format. And obviously we'll have a bit of a conversation going on as well. So does that sound okay?
That's perfect. I'm super nervous, but yeah, it's fine.
No, don't be nervous. It's just me. It's just you. It's fine. So, tell us about Declutter with Emma. Tell us about how your business started and all of the backstory to why and how you're here now. It's a really nosy, really big question to start with, so sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, Declutter with Emma almost didn't start because I procrastinated it for about a year before I actually started it. Because I was a stay-at-home mum, and I hadn't sort of ventured or thought about doing my own business for a while, and I've always been a kind of organised, quite methodical person. And when I had the children, it was just something that came naturally to me. You know, when we sort of our family were expanding, we'd be moving houses, and I was always very interested in keeping things happens, you know, quite naturally. And I was quite inspired by seeing that there were other people doing this as a business. But you know, you sort of go, oh no, I just couldn't do that. And I searched for quite a while. When my youngest started senior school, I really wanted to do something and work for myself. And I spoke with my husband about it. I spoke with my brother about it. And I'm like, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do the thing. And so I put it off, and I spent that year sort of working with family and friends and researching and sort of seeing how you can even start a business, because it's not even just what you go and do, it's all the stuff behind, you know, the business.
So much behind it, isn't it?
There's more behind it, I think, than what you actually physically do. There's so much behind it.
Without doubt,
And then I just bit the bullet, and I think I put a post on, do you have Nextdoor? Do you know that second app?
Do you know, that's so weird. I had a letter today saying, this is happening in your village, do you want to get involved? And I was like, that's a bit straight, okay. One up from the WhatsApp village group.
Yeah, it's quite nice. And then I think my post got removed because I was advertising my business or something. And then I sort of decided Instagram was the place that I wanted to be. I'm so glad I did, but I didn't have a clue. I had no clue about Instagram. And then and so it was born, and here we are a couple of years later, and I'm thrilled that I can do something that I'm passionate about, and that I love. I
think you have my dream job, actually. If you know, if there was a oh God, I love sorting, and and those clear boxes. Oh my God, clear boxes, baskets.
I love them. Any clear boxes, baskets, and it's like giving someone a transformation and changing something for them that they might find difficult to do is really rewarding. It's not all just about pretty aesthetics. There's so much more that you're helping somebody, and that sits really well with me. It's kind of, I feel like I've come home in that sense, and I'm doing something that I love, which I know I'm very lucky to be able to do.
Absolutely. And I think if you're passionate, I think this is the one thing about business, isn't it? If you're absolutely passionate about what you do, then you will drive it forward. Whereas if it's doesn't really excite you, then it's just tough. It's just you're fighting that battle every single day.
I think being in business is tough anyway, because like we've said, there's a lot of stuff you have to do behind the scenes to get your business up and running and keep it running. And if you're not passionate about it, I think that stuff would have been super hard for me to do. Even like showing your face on social media and putting yourself out there is incredibly difficult if you're a bit shy and perhaps don't have the confidence that other people seem to have.
But I'm nodding, I can hear you.
That can really put you off. So I think to have the passion will keep you doing all of those things that you need to do.
Absolutely. And I don't know, you probably see this so much, but I've always been the sort of person that, if I'm trying to concentrate on something, whether it be in the kitchen or whether it be in the office or wherever, if it's cluttered, my brain just switches off. Some would say there wasn't much there anyway. But I just have to have a clear surface, and otherwise I just don't know where to start. So I can imagine.
I feel the same.
But I can imagine your after, your before and after. It's quite emotional for so I'm going way off track from all these questions we've been given, but
it's not. You're absolutely right. It's
quite emotional.
And it can be, and the relief that you see in your clients. And I have had a couple of clients get quite emotional, and they say, do people cry? And I say they do, because it's just such a relief, to have someone to help in that way. And for when I do it with a client, it's a big turnaround in a day, as opposed to when you're doing it on your own. And if there's sort of two sides to my Instagram. One is obviously the service I provide, and the other is very much trying to help people to do it themselves. And that's a slower process, and it should be.
God, I could talk to you about this for ages. I'm totally addicted to the home edit program on. Oh my God.
I know. Isn't that all just so lovely and pretty and amazing?
And that's it, isn't it? If you have a cupboard that looks lovely when you open it, and you know exactly where everything is, and especially with like the larder and the kitchen, if you know how much you've got of everything, it just for me anyway, it saves so much money and so much time. Because you can see what you've got, as opposed to, I'm not sure, is there anything in there, don't know, I better get another one just in case. Whereas if it is totally
clear and
organised and clear and calming, it just takes the whole headache out of.
I think you feel like, I don't know how you feel, and I'm imagining most sort of mums might feel like this, or whoever does the cooking in your house, that it is like a constant job. It's never ending. And to have that organised, calm sort of kitchen space where you know what you've got, you know what ingredients you've got, just makes that job so much nicer.
Absolutely. Honestly, I'm laughing because I had a very similar conversation with my son this evening. He said, parenting, that's not a job.
That's the hardest one.
And I went, shall we have a conversation about this one? He's like, that's not a job. And I was like, are you saying it's a chore to cook? And I'm like, not at all. It's not a chore. But what I'm saying is, like you say, you have to be on top of it. all the time. And I'm laughing because whenever I, do my pantry or my laundry cupboard or whatever, I'm like, come and have a look, doesn't it look lovely? And they're like, just say yes, just say yes. But if I know where everything lives and it looks lovely,
no one else feels the joy in the house, do they? They're just like, here she goes again.
But I tell you what though, since I did my laundry cupboard, it used to be the place where people would just open it, close the door, just open it, just chuck stuff in. I say people, I mean my teens. Now I can honestly say, someone messaged the other day and said, so it's been a couple of years now, does it still look the same? And I'm like, it absolutely does. And I think that's having, labels and just having that organised.
It's having a system. For everything. Yeah. It's having a system in your home. Definitely. That works. And if
Wendy's is saying hello. Hi, Wendy. It's so glad you've joined us.
And if you have that system within your home, and it doesn't have to be rigid, it's just a system that helps things to flow, and things end up staying in their space a lot more. Like we were talking about the kitchen, and I'm a huge fan of having canisters and decanting things. And it's not just for it to look pretty. There is a system behind that. There is the stuff you put in canisters, then I have a backstock area, which I do for most of my clients, so that you can see what you've got, you refill it, you know when you need to get more, and you use the ingredients that you have, as opposed to having a kitchen full of stuff that you don't ever use because it's hidden behind somewhere, or, it's all about having a system.
Or out of stock. When you're like, oh God, it's out of stock. Not out of stock, out of date. Is the word I'm looking for. Not out of stock, out of date. Yeah. But saves so much time. So let's go on to a question. Okay. We were speaking a week, weren't we? Like many of us, we are mums of teens who are going through GCSEs and A-levels at the same time. What? So it's obviously we're talking about having a clear head and clear spaces. From a revision point of view, what would be your kind of big top tip as opposed to making the space wherever it is they study organised and uncluttered? Does that make sense? They've got, I know what teenagers like. They're like, no, this isn't a mess. I know where everything is, all over the floor. But what would you say for them to having, a tidy space that's organised as far as getting the most out of their revision and their sleep?
I think that, obviously I will notoriously put on my Instagram that my teens are messy and that they drive me crazy.
But your reel about the toilet roll was hilarious. It's like, I so know where you're coming from.
It was a bit over the top, but sometimes it does make me feel like that. So, for God's sake, how difficult is it to put a fresh loo roll on? Come on, guys.
Oh my God.
But I have quite a different approach to my teens. They're all different. So I've got one going through GCSEs and one going through A-levels, and then I've got a 12-year-old as well, and an older child, but he's obviously at work and stuff. But I have always given them the responsibility of managing their space and their time. So I've got one, the one going through GCSEs has a desk in his room, and he's quite happy with his setup. He's actually quite tidy with his schoolwork, whereas my A-level daughter will have it strewn all over the place, all over the kitchen table, or all over her bed. But that's the way that she works.
That's so how it,
I think you have to take that into consideration. And I have tried a lot with my family to control their spaces, and it doesn't work.
No.
They will find their own way. So having a clear sort of system that works for them. And if that's messiness,
it has to work for the individual. Yeah.
So and of course I encourage them all the time to be organised, and they are getting better. But I think we had this conversation during the week that I very much, when they hit sort of year 8, it's their responsibility to do their homework and remember their things, because I had 4 children. I didn't have time to be running around after each one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Might be a bit mean, but it seems to have done them, quite well.
Definitely. Oh my God, definitely. Absolutely. We've got some love hearts there. We've got some people resonating with that, which I love. No, I couldn't agree more. I remember saying to my son, actually, he was at the time going straight to a tennis lesson after school, and I was like, if you haven't got your tennis kit, ready and in the car, because I'm working and like doing a big circular loop from A to B, I don't have time to go back and pick it up. If you forget it and it's not ready, we're not going. That's really harsh, that's really harsh. And there was one time he did forget it, and I was like, we just physically do not have the time or the capacity to go and get it. And he's like, well, you said that, so yeah, I'll take that on the chin.
Well, I think it stands them in good stead.
You didn't do it again.
No, and there has to come a point where we sort of give them the responsibility for themselves. You know, if you're late to school, then and you get a detention, then that's your fault, because you need to be on time. And you know, whereas if I'm chivying them along all the time, A, I'm getting really frustrated, B, I'm nagging them constantly, and C, there's no consequence if they are late or forget something. And you know, I have to be slightly different with my 12-year-old because he has ADHD, so there's a bit of a different kind of parenting going on there. But as far as the others are concerned, you know, it's kind of on them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think because of that, they are more likely to be proactive in other things around them as well.
Remembering things for themselves, you know, it becomes a habit. And I think the more, you know, you sort of, it's like exercise, isn't it? The more they do that habit, then the more things they'll remember, the more things they'll get done, and sort of slightly stop relying on you a bit, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then it's you're sharing the stress then, as opposed to, come on, hurry
up. It's stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So please tell us that you are human and that you do have that one cupboard in your house, or that one drawer. In our house, it's it was the kitchen drawer until I got some lovely little boxes, and now everything has its own little space, which is I'm in love with. But everyone has that cupboard or that drawer, don't they? Please tell us you have one too.
Of course I have one. Of course I do. I have in my kitchen, I have an island table in the middle, and there is a cupboard, a double cupboard underneath it. And there are chairs all around the table, so it's not that easily accessible. It's not a place that I use very often. But, and I'll probably show this to you on my stories one day when I do it, when you open it, there's so much crap in there.
Amanda is saying you have.
There is honestly so much rubbish in there. I know what's in there, and I know I need to sort it out, but it's not bugging me, because in actual fact I don't need the space. So it's not that I need to use the space and it's bugging me. But yeah, of course I do. And I have a junk drawer in my kitchen. It's just organised junk.
Yeah.
Everyone has a junk drawer, or one or two, don't they? And you know what? My house isn't perfect. It's not always tidy. But there is structure in my house for when I want to, you know, have a day of blitzing and stuff. Because it's just how I function. It's just easier. It's just very natural, you know, for me to be that way. I'm really joking.
Amanda says she's only joking. She's got home envy. Do we need a house tour?
I will do it one day, yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Decorating at the moment, so I have to wait a little bit.
A big reveal. That'd be great. That'd be great.
Be nice.
But yeah, I think it's well, you probably see it more with all your clients, that, you know, everyone has their own space. It's just how they organize it, and if it's not working for what they want that space for, then you are the person that can come in and just unpick what's right and what works for them.
Yeah, and I think having someone outside come in, because we get so used to our own spaces and so used to seeing what we have, and we almost get used to it, and almost get used to the feeling that it gives us, even if that is stress. It kind of just becomes normal. So when you have somebody else come in with a fresh set of eyes, I can kind of, you know, get a feel for a room and feel the furniture and feel where the sort of things should go and need to go. And I just think, you know, that's what I'm there for, is to sort of try out other ideas, try out other ways, and organise them in a way that works for them. Because it's not, if I organised you, it might not work for the next person, It's very individual.
Absolutely. And I guess, like we were saying at the beginning about how it's emotional when you have the reveal, sometimes having someone who's not emotionally attached to those items or that piece of furniture when they know it really needs to go, or they know that it's not serving them very well. It's you know, it's got quite a lot you're taking on. It's not just kind of the physical job, it's kind of the emotional side of things behind it as well.
It is emotional side, and sometimes, you know, like I worked with a client the other day and we were sorting out a lot of her children's artwork, and you know, we were going through it, and she looked at me and she said, what did you do with all your children's artwork? And I looked at her and I went, I binned it. She was like, and she almost felt relieved. You know, of course I've kept special pieces. My children have their memory boxes, but with 4 kids and lots of stuff coming home from school and drawings that were made around the house, I had to make a decision. Where am I going to put all of this stuff? So of course we kept special things, but for her to hear me say, well, I got rid of it, you could see the relief, like, oh, so I can do that. Like, of course. No.
I really believe the whole community that are watching us now, when you said that you had that cupboard, just went, oh,
yeah,
thank you.
I will show it to you. I will do it when I go to declutter it. I'll do it with you guys on stories or something, so that you can see. Great. It's true. My house is not perfect,
but it works for you, and that's the whole thing, isn't it? It's having that space and having it work for you. So I have another question for you. The Tupperware drawer.
Yes.
It's a bit like coat hangers. If you come across coat hangers in a bad mood, you know, when they're all tangled up, it's a bit like that with the Tupperware drawer. How is the best way for us to organise the Tupperware drawer so it doesn't drive you? Is Tupperware even a word anymore? Have I just shown my age massively?
It is a word.
It's still called Tupperware.
That's what we all still call it, Tupperware. So it depends what space you have.
Conference Stokes just saying yes, that's brilliant. Joe's just saying fabulous.
It depends what space you have. So if you have a deep drawer, I like to store Tupperware with lids on, because I just think that makes much more sense. It's easy. But if you don't have that, what you can do is section your drawer so that you can either use contained, you can even use old shoe boxes to put your bottoms in if you like, and then another one to put your lids in. It's so much easier to put away. You know, I have baskets in a cupboard. So I've turned a cupboard into a Tupperware, because we use quite a lot of it here. And the kids' water bottles, sports bottles and things. I will show it to you on my stories. I've been meaning to get it out and do a reel or something with it. And I store big Tupperware pots in one, small in the other, and then I have a sort of wire rack to store the water bottles in. And you know what? Whilst it's one of those spots that you open and go, oh my God, it doesn't take that long.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
That long. It's only like 10 minutes just to have a quick whip through and see you know, what you've got. Matching
the lids with the pots and the... But no, you're so right. It is, and quite often it's the whole... That's why I love my power of an hours, is because the job in your mind can just get bigger and bigger and bigger the more you put it off. Does that make sense? So you think, oh, I've got to do my Tupperware drawer, or I've got to do whatever. And obviously with things like the ironing pile, that will get bigger and bigger and bigger the more you put it off. But those little tasks that you just think, oh, I've got to do that. It's a real heart sink, a real moment. But set the clock, crack on, get some music on, turn off all your distractions, and you're away. And I mean, it's just getting started, isn't it? Once you've started.
It is, and I think it's something that I try to remove a lot of overwhelm on my page, is by saying, this will take you 20 minutes. Don't think about anything else. Put a 15-minute timer on and just get it done. It's like anything, you know, that phone call you have to make that you just put off all the time, because it's like, oh, and it's such a relief when you just do it.
Oh,
it never takes the time you think it's
going to tell someone, don't you? Guess what I've just done?
I've put the car in for an MOT. Woo!
Do you know, I got my car cleaned, which sounds ridiculous. Like proper valeted, because it hadn't been done for such a long time, and there was sand and all sorts in there. A swim mum, so I travel a lot with kids eating in the car, and I hadn't seen this chap who I since before lockdown. He's the guy that kind of, you know, in our local supermarket does all the cars and everything. And when I went back, I was like, I'm so sorry, it's terrible. We have done it over lockdown, but you know, it's just bad. And he's like, I'm going to put you on the naughty list. But and we were laughing because he was like, it's so good to see you. I've not seen you for nearly 2 years. It's so good to see you. And now I look at my car and I'm like, oh, it's really clean.
Oh, it's so, you've reminded me.
So lovely. Because the reverse of that was every time I saw it, I'd be like, oh God, it's filthy. I just, you know, and even though I'd kept on top of it mostly, it's not the same as it when someone...
No, and it's the thing is like when you have that sort of issue in your house or in your car or wherever, if you are constantly seeing it every day, to me those sorts are draining and they're energy sapping as well, because and it becomes a bigger problem in your mind than it really is, just to get it sorted out. And I know it's not easy for everybody because not everybody has the time, not everybody's at home, but if you just get that job done and it's ticked off, the mental sort of clarity that you have and that you feel afterwards is pretty addictive and amazing, isn't it? It's like,
it's pretty fantastic. Absolutely. There's a book, I'm just looking for the author. I can't grab it, but it's a book. I'll find it and put a comment in the comments when we saved it. It's called Eat That Frog. I don't know if you've come across it.
I've heard the saying, but not the book.
Oh, it's just brilliant. So it's almost like, you know, that job that you know you have to get done, and I think everyone can resonate with the whole tax form, the job we hate. But get that job done first at the beginning of each day. Just get the job done that you know is going to be the one that you will have that feeling for afterwards, because every other thing that comes on after that will just be a breeze. Because that's the job that's been hanging over you, whether it be the Tupperware drawer or the tax return or getting your car sorted out or making that phone call.
I think another thing that I find quite powerful is to write things down. So, you know, you have all these things sort of flying around and you mind, oh, I must do that, I must order that, I haven't forgotten that, I must post that. And I just
such a list person.
Yeah, oh, so am I. I mean, I love a list. And then if you can't remember what it was you're meant to be doing, you just look and go, oh yeah, I need to do that. Tick it off, tick it off, tick it off. Because brain dumping that out of your mind, you know, gives you more calm and clarity as well. So, and it doesn't mean you have to get everything done. You could just pick the 3 things that are more pressing and then get them done as well. Because we just all need a bit of a clearer mind, don't we?
Absolutely. Does all this rub off on your kids? The whole brain dump thing, the whole get a list.
No. Probably not. No. No, but they, you know.
I would be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say, isn't it? Because I live in with them, so you know, I'm so used to how they are. I mean, they don't ever forget books or where they need to be or what they're doing. So something's working, you know, there. They don't tend to rely on me a lot for that kind of thing, just to make the dinner. Yes, bullet journaling.
Yeah, I was just looking at the comment.
Yeah, that's a favourite of mine. I think perhaps it does rub off on them so much. And then hopefully the tidying up will eventually rub off on them a bit more, hey?
It will. I was only asking because with the power of an hour, that has rubbed off on my 2, purely from when, I know, isn't it cool? So when they were little, obviously, like I say, they were teens now. When they were little, they'd be like, oh, let's have a movie afternoon. Let's have a movie afternoon. I'm like, brilliant. And I'm like, oh, I've got all these things to do. And it's like, right, okay, I have these things to do before I can sit down and watch it with you. And they were like, right, let's write a list. So we would write a list, and then they would pick what or they would write down also on that same list what they needed to get done. I don't know, whether it be, school bag ready for the next morning or whatever. And then I'd be like, right, let's set the clock. We're going to go 15 minutes. Who wants to choose the music? And then we would all just charge around. And it was great because it got them understanding and appreciating that things don't just happen.
Yeah.
And also it was a case of, because there was that urgency behind it. We wanted to
there's a goal.
There's a goal. Absolutely. And then they would charge in and they would come and, you know, scratch. I've done that job. Brilliant. But what happens now is it's like, right, we need to go to X. What needs to get done before we do that? They then go through the list and pick out which jobs they want to do. So invariably it's like, oh, hold on, you've got all the easy ones. No. But it's just working it to suit them as well. you know.
I think it's a great tip for because I think mums often take the stress on of doing everything, and a lot of mine was, oh, it's just easier if I do it myself. You know, it's just easier than the nagging and the moaning and everything else. But I've started to realise that it's actually not easier, and they don't mind helping. You know, if I'm cooking dinner and I'll say to someone, can you empty the dishwasher? They're like, yeah. You know, and I'm like, oh, actually, it's really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And then, like I say, we all then enjoy that time together. We have more time together because everyone's, you know, chucked in.
Everyone's mucked in and helped.
Absolutely. Are you ready for another question? I've so gone off track.
That's what I love about these conversations, though, isn't it?
Guys listening, thank you so much for joining us. If you've got any questions at all that I know I put it out, I said we do 5, but you know, if you've got any questions or any tips you want to share, please do get involved. We've got loads of people joining us. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I love hearing other people's tips as well.
I know, yeah, absolutely. So with many of us, I know things are changing, working from home, or have the home office, the study, the kitchen table, whatever. Can you give us some top tips for organising our home office space?
Yeah, I can indeed.
Hi, Becky's joined us.
Hi. So the first one is to clear everything off your desk and start from scratch. So if it's a home office space, you'll often find things get dumped there that don't really belong there, have nothing to do with work or anything you're doing at all.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd absolutely clear the space and put everything away that doesn't belong there. I use basket on my desk. So because at the end of the day, it is my home and I want to put all my work away so that it still looks clear. I mean, it's in my sort of kitchen sitting area. So it's a communal area, if you like. And I keep these baskets like this. So I just have, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah, got it.
So all my notebooks, incoming post goes in there, and that's my sort of to-do list. It's not all scattered over the desk. Well, it is probably during the day, but at the end of the day I put it away, and I think it's really important to have that routine so that when you come down in the morning to start work, your desk is clear and fresh and ready for you. And at the end of the day, you've put all that stuff away. If you have drawers, if you don't have a basket like that, you know, have somewhere for your pens to go.
Love a basket.
Baskets are life, aren't they? So and make it a cozy, friendly place for you to be. Have a candle on there. Have some flowers. You know, make it your space. And if it's multifunctional, you can have those baskets or bigger baskets. Everybody can have their own. Kids' schoolwork goes in one, your work goes in another, and you can swap them over as to who's using the space. Yeah. I hope that's helpful.
I think that's brilliant. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Let us know, guys, if you, like I say, have any questions or anything, or want to share maybe how you use your office space. Because obviously, you know, when you're in your, you know, your proper office, when everything goes back, then it's slightly different, isn't it? Because you wouldn't have, well, certainly where I was working, you certainly wouldn't have, you know, flowers or candles on the desk. It just wasn't okay. So but now, you know, it's my little space, and I love
and you can make it how you want, can't you? You can make it. Look, I've put some new prints on my walls that I like. I've got dried flowers on my desk, you know. I have candle, because it's homely, but you want it to be the space where you can work without getting too distracted about home stuff,
and be productive.
So, you know, it's kind of needs its own zone, doesn't it? That's work, but it's like got all your bits on there that make you feel comfortable and cozy, I think. I don't know if you can see that behind me. That's that's lovely.
We've got it's a big window bay, basically, with shutters and what have you. But when I've got something on that I'm writing and I really need to concentrate on it, that's where I stand there. So I have like I call it my standing desk. But I'll tell you a funny story. When we first moved in, my neighbours didn't realise that that's what I did, and they live, you know, over there, but I was always very conscious they must thought I must just stand in the window all day.
Watching them.
So we've got shutters now, so I move it so that they don't feel like I'm standing there. But actually, having a standing desk that's clear, oh gosh, for me makes a massive difference. Yeah, and it keeps me moving as well. I'm not just tend to, sitting down. You just kind of.
I had a client that has a desk that is adjustable. This was amazing. So it's an adjustable desk that it can go up and down.
Hi, Carols.
And she has like a sort of walking machine underneath the desk, so that she can have her desk raised as she's working or Zooming, and she can be walking on this machine as well. It's like genius.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. I have done that with a treadmill, but I can't write and walk at the same time. I just fall off. But yeah, when it comes to, I don't know, listening into a call or something, yeah, really, really helpful. But yeah, that's my kind of.
I love
it's
it.
really wide.
Really calm. Yeah, really nice
really
space.
So yeah, I love it. But I've so loved talking to you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's been lovely, Claire. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Oh, it's an absolute joy. I know that we should definitely get you on again. Definitely get you on again.
Love to.
I saw so many. Do you follow Mel Robbins at all?
No.
She is.
Write it down.
Yeah, quick, scribble it down. She is incredible. She's written lots of books about kind of motivation and just trying to think what she's written. The 5 minute. Oh crikey! See, I knew I'd forget what she was doing. But she did a live today, and she was saying, putting things off is fine to a point, but if you keep putting things off, then it's just not happening. So she was asking, what one thing it's a great question. I love this question. What one thing can you do before the end of the week that you keep meaning to do? And I had my phone, I was working, but I had my phone on the side, so I was listening to what she was saying, as opposed, almost like I was like a podcast, as I wasn't looking at what she was doing, but I was listening to her. And whenever I looked at the screen, the amount of people that were saying, I'm going to declutter my kitchen, I'm going to declutter my car, and I was like, oh my god, so many people. And like, right, that's it, January, I'm going to start the new month by doing a bit of clearing.
I mean, I've started doing something on my page that's really popular, and that's Declutter Monday, where I have I ask my audience what areas of their home they'd like to declutter, and then I make a list, and then every Monday I post something out that they've suggested, and they're just small tasks. I think everyone's really enjoying it because it's taking away the overwhelm. There's a bit of accountability there if they want it, because they can message and go, done, I've done mine. And it's just small little things that help to improve your sort of area and make you feel a bit better.
Absolutely.
Just ticking off a little task and getting it done is, it's just the best feeling, isn't it?
It is. And that's funny you should say that, because I post my missions. I share a weekly mission on my page. It used to be on a Monday morning, but then actually when I asked when they wanted it, they said on a Sunday evening, so that they can start Monday ready to go. And and this Mondays is, me, I'm a bit of a stationery addict and a planner addict. This Mondays is all about, if you've said that you're going to consistently do, I don't know, drink water, declutter one small space a week or whatever it is, then that's brilliant. But how about, don't laugh, how about give yourself a sticker? Because when you were when the kids were growing up, you'd had stickers. When you were at school, you had stickers, and it was really great to see just that visual representation of how, say, lifestyle planner, she's just literally just joined. I was just telling you about the stickers. So when in fact I'll show you lifestyle planner sticker. I mean, how gorgeous are they?
They are so gorgeous,
aren't they? And they are my brand colours as well, so of course I love them. I don't, almost to the point I don't actually want to use them, but this week's mission is all about, so you've got your bullet journal of all the things that you want to do, but when you put your sticker next to it when you've done it, brilliant. And then each week, during that week, I share a top tip of how to kind of improve and how to kind of take that further forward. so this week's top tip alongside that was, when you've decided that you've got enough stickers, so maybe 30 or one for the amount of days there are in the month or whatever, then what are you going to reward yourself with? Because we tend to go, great, yeah, tick, next, great, yeah, tick, next. But actually, if you can actually, do you know, I'm just going to get myself a new novel to read, or I'm going to have...
It doesn't have to be a huge thing, does it? Just to give
a
yourself
chill
some
in the bath without any kids.
Yeah, just have a cup of tea in peace, or even, you know, go and have a massage or whatever it is, because I think sometimes we do so much without even realizing how much we do. And I think, like, one time I spoke in my stories about, you know, instead of doing a to-do list, at the end of the day, go back and look about all the things you did get done today. You know, even if that's emptying a dishwasher, taking the bins out, whatever it is, you'll soon see how much you do and how much you've done, and then sit down and congratulate yourself, because, you know,
absolutely,
it's a lot.
We're really, really good, aren't we, of just going, yeah, I've worked towards that, achieved it, done it, brilliant, but there is no time to celebrate it. So it's like, you know, let's celebrate the wins.
More celebrations, people, more celebrations.
Definitely. I could talk to you about productivity and planning and decluttering.
Me too. Yeah, I've loved that tonight.
We'll have to do a part 1 and a part 2.
We will, definitely. I've loved it. Thanks, Claire.
Thank you so much for coming on and giving up your time. It's just been amazing. So just to recap, we talked about Emma behind Declutter with Emma and how your whole wonderful business came about. We talked about teenagers and their revision space. We talked about that lovely Tupperware cupboard and how to get the best out of it. And that it's not that big job that we all think it must be. You brilliantly shared with us about that you are human and you do actually have that space that we all hoped you would have.
I do.
We also talked about the home office and the study space, whether it be your kitchen table or, you know, you're lucky enough to have a room or what have you. And then we talked about so many things in between as well. So for all of those just joining, we will save this. She says, so do go back and watch, and thank you so much again. I'll save this, and if anyone has any questions afterwards, then we can come back and
anything, just ask away,
and I'll add the book in as well. But you have been amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me, Claire.
You are very welcome.
Thanks for joining, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for giving up your time this evening. It's been really, really lovely, and we'll speak again soon. Bye.